Hello party people, welcome back to my channel. Now, in today's video, I am going to talk about something that's kind of not discussed when it comes to realtors selling your house, and that is how do you help your kids cope with the move? Now this is more geared towards little kids, but I will make one for like teenagers and even for you, because moving is a pain in the butt. It's definitely a pain in the butt. The financial side of things, you have to get the loan, you have to go through the search process, you have to get everything taken care of. And then on top of that, you have to deal with the packing, the loading, the unloading, the unpacking. It can be a lot of work, but there's more to it than just that. So the one thing that we tend to forget in this whole process is sometimes we forget that our kids are being affected by the move. That doesn't mean that you're making the wrong decision by moving. Of course, we have to move every so often, but it can be very emotionally significant to a child. The perspective of kids is limited by their experience. And so their perspective on why do we have to move? Why do we have to leave the school that I love? Why do we have to leave my friends behind? Why do we have to leave the playground that I love to go to or the swing set in the backyard? That can be really upsetting to them. And it's something that you want to take into consideration because, of course, you can't just put your life on hold because of the emotions of children. We can't let them dictate us that far, but you certainly can take into consideration how they may be feeling. And this video is about that. So here are my 10 tips on how you can help your child cope with the loss of their home and help them to transition to their new home, because it's going to be great for them. They just don't know it yet. You do, though. Tip number 1 is you're going to want to allow them to grieve the loss. Now, I know that seems a little dramatic. Like, grief is when you lose a loved one or you lose something very significant. Well, to them, it is significant. To them, it's a big deal. So when they lost their home, because they're going to get I'm hoping you're moving to a place that's better. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes there's a divorce and you have to downsize. There are circumstances in both directions where either you're upgrading or you're downgrading. But hypothetically, either which way, there's going to be a benefit that they don't see. But in the meantime, you have to allow them to grieve that loss. So what does grieving the loss look like? You could get them a special notebook with markers and crayons, and you could have them draw out their memories of this house. You could help them write out memories. When I moved as a little kid, this is what my parents allowed me to do. Is I still have these pieces of paper in my really childish handwriting, and it was all the stuff that I was going to miss about the house. And guess what? We moved to a better house. It was a better house. We moved from a mobile home to a single family home. We've been living there since, and I love my new home. But back as a little kid, I didn't understand why I had to leave the old trailer home, and because that was my whole world for 11 years. And so my parents did a great job helping me transition from one home to the next. Dr. John Deloney, the famous psychologist, says grief demands a witness. Well, be your child's witness and make sure that you're allowing them to be seen and heard, even if it doesn't make sense to you why they're upset. Tip number 2 is keep routine stable. So you can only do the best that you can, right? Because let's just say you're moving from one side of the country to the other side of the country. It's going to be a little bit messy for a little while. But do your best to have family dinner together. Well, how do you have family dinner when you're on the road? Stop at a restaurant. That's a family dinner, okay? Keep things as stable as you can. If they have a bedtime, try to keep them going to bed at that time. Yes, there are time zone differences. There are things, but do what's in your control, not what's out of your control. Make sure that you keep things as stable as you can with, if you're religious, you do your religious activities. If you have to stop at a church in Massachusetts because you're on your way to Maine, I don't know. Try to have some fun with it, because it is a transition, but it could also be an adventure too. Speaking of it being an adventure, step number 3 is make it fun. When you move, you can, if you don't have couches, sit on the floor. You don't have a bed, put blankets down on the ground. Kids love that stuff. It's a lot of fun. You can make forts with the limited furniture that you do have. You can set the TV up on the floor and put their Xbox connected to it. You think a little kid's not going to love that? I'd love that. That sounds awesome. You're going to want to make it fun, right? Go to their room, set it up the best way that you know how with the limited furniture that you do have or the limited stuff that you do have at the moment. Make it an adventure, try to see how you can make it fun. Tip number 4 is once you get there, go tour the area. Introduce your kids to their new home, right? It'd be kind of weird. Okay, this is a weird example, but let's say you were forced into a relationship, you know? In this case, the relationship that they're being forced into is the relationship with their new community. So if you're from Utah, you end up moving to Wyoming or vice versa. Now you have to introduce yourself to this community. You have to start, in essence, dating your community so that you know more about your community. You have to show them where the fun stuff is, right? If you guys can afford it, take them somewhere entertaining in the immediate area, whether that be to the trampoline park or whether that be to really just anywhere that you think is going to be fun. Introduce them to the local parks, drive them around the city, and show them the new bookstore, because to you it is new. Everything is new to you. So this is your opportunity to introduce them and make a good first impression to your kids. Tip number 5 is allow them a piece of ownership over their home. So Dr. John Deloney of the John Deloney Show, I mentioned him earlier in this video, I believe, he says that when a baby is to be born into your house, you always refer to your children, you say, this is your baby. And you allow them to have a piece of ownership and responsibility and, love for that baby. Well, I agree that this could also be used for homes, because if you allow them a piece of ownership, a stake in the ground that they're going to be living in, that's a very big deal to them. So allow them to decorate their room the way that they want. Buy them LED lights to put around the thing. You think they wouldn't like LED lights like up in that corner? Or allow them to paint, if the favorite color is purple, allow them to paint the room purple if you can. Get them a poster that really helps them, and take all of the things that were already in their room and allow them to implement that the way that they want. Instead of just doing it for them, ask, what do you think about that? What do you think about this poster in the back? What do you think about our living room? If you give them a piece of ownership, they are going to love this new home, because it is not just a new home. It's not just your new home. It's their new home too. Okay, tip number 6 is make room for whatever emotions they bring to the table, okay? Because adults, we're allowed to feel emotions. We're allowed to feel mad. We're allowed to feel frustrated. But if we don't allow our kids to feel the same way, we're doing them a disservice. So if you look at like the movie The Karate Kid, the one with Jaden Smith. Jaden Smith? Will Smith? Jaden Smith. Yeah, Jaden Smith. He moves to China from Detroit. That is a huge... You know what? I'm going to get this out of my eyes because that's driving me nuts. The little shadow on my eyes. So, Jaden Smith, he goes, and he says to his mom, he goes, I want to go home. And he's crying his eyes out because he hates China. Because, well, he's being bullied, but you get the point. And she says, there's nothing left for us in Detroit. Well, that may be true, but he doesn't understand that, right? But one thing she did quite well is she allowed him to feel his emotions, and she didn't lash out at him because he's pissed off and he wants to go back home. Because he lived in Detroit his entire life. That's a whole different country. Now, maybe you're only moving to another city, but your kids can feel angry, and that's okay. And allow them that right to feel their emotions the same way you would expect yourself as an adult to be allowed to feel angry, frustrated. Don't question their emotions more than you would question your own, right? Tip number 7 is create new routines. Create a new life. This is your opportunity to rebrand your family, to rebuild. And that's exciting. And so take this opportunity to out with the old and in with the new. Take everything that you loved about your old home and bring it with you. And take everything that you didn't like about your old home, your old family routines, your old dynamics. Do your best to throw it away because you got a fresh start, right? Now, not everything's going to change, but it sure as heck doesn't hurt to have a new environment, because the environment that you create here doesn't have to be the same as the other one. You're under no obligation to have the same home here as you did there. And so you can take all of the trash, throw it away. You can downsize stuff. You can just make this your own home, and that's going to be wonderful for the kids to see a rebranding of your life together. Tip number 8 is to lead by example. If you want your kids to start enjoying the community, you got to start enjoying the community. If you want the kids to be positive, you need to be positive. If you bring a negative energy into the home, if you bring a negative energy about the move, if you're always complaining about how hard it is, about how it sucks to unpack, how, man, it takes so much work, don't plant those seeds of negativity in your children, because they will feel it and they will adopt those emotions as their own. The loudest voice in your kid's life, in their own head, is your voice. And you know what? Tip number 9 is give them the illusion of control. Give them the illusion that they're picking the house too. So just like with the paint thing, like, yeah, you're okay with them painting their room, right? Give them the illusion that they have more control than they actually do. Because if you wanted to take a little 5-year-old and pick them up and put them in their car seat, you can do that. They don't have the control to stop you. But the fact of the matter is, you want to give them the illusion that they do have the control because you love them. And in the end, you want them to have this autonomy in their life. You teach them now to have autonomy. And part of the way you do that is by allowing them to come with you to the showings, come with you online shopping. Hey, what do you think about that? What do you think about that house? Ask them. Because even if you're not going to pick anything that they say, give them the illusion that you will, because you love them. And then when they walk in, you're kind of setting them up for success, because you go, hey, what do you think about Provo? What do you think about Provo? Like, do you like this? Oh, wow, like they got the botanical garden. Do you want, whoa, we get to live in that city? Hype it up, but give them the illusion of control, because you're not manipulating them. You know what I'm saying? You're teaching them. You're teaching them optimism about the situation. And tip number 10 is be patient and give it time, because I did not want to move to my new house when I was a little kid. I really didn't. And like I said, I moved from a mobile home to a 5-bedroom house. It was a single wide mobile home. Like, there's no comparison. Looking back at my house now, I'll drive through that mobile home park when I'm, giving clients tours. It is what it is, but it's not big. It is a very small, and it's fine. It's a fine place to live. I love mobile homes. I grew up in one, but I certainly upgraded. It's just a matter of my parents were patient. They gave me time. And now, if you ask me if I want to sell my parents' home, I'd be like, no, not my home. See, because you adapt. But it took years for these things to happen, for it to become the home. Now I consider this my childhood home. So it takes time. Give it time. Those are my tips. And if you have any questions, or if you need a realtor who is compassionate towards your move and your family's emotions about your move, I'm kind of your guy, because I'm very sentimental myself. So just let me know if there's anything I can do to help you, and give me a call or a text if you need anything. All right, bye.